Something I just learned and just figured out about myself is that I have been projecting the behavior of my previous abusers on somebody that was not abusing me. And I didn't realize that what that does is demonstrate to me my lack of healing in that area. I just learned over the last couple of weeks, it is August 2024, and I just learned over the last couple of weeks that I am the survivor of several narcissistic, abusive relationships. And I don't want to say it's shocking to me, but now that I'm putting all of the pieces together for so much extreme behavior that has taken place over my life, I feel so much better. Like, I feel like on the verge of tears every 5 seconds, but I feel way better than before, which was still numb and unable to cry about anything. So I think I was numb and unable to cry about anything because I hadn't really grappled with the severity of the abuse that I survived. And because Black women are not allowed to be victims, thank you, Veronica Gunn, because Black women are not allowed to be victims, I was beating myself up like it was my damn fault that I had such a tumultuous and difficult life. And it's not my fault. Nothing I did is my fault. Now, I made decisions, right, based on constraints that got put upon me that I wouldn't have made. Again, Black women not even supposed to be here in America, right? Like, why am I even here? Well, because my ancestors got stolen. So I got all of this 400 years of plus that I've been a victim, 500 years that is victim generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. When it got to me, I didn't realize how severe it was. Even reading all the books, right? Like even when you read all the books, it is still very I don't know the right word. Maybe it's still kind of philosophical. Maybe it's still esoteric and it's kind of, maybe it's out there. And so because it's out there, you don't really see it. You don't really feel it. You don't really recognize that, oh, okay, yeah, this shit is harmful to me. This is, not good. This ain't my bag. Like you don't really have the bandwidth and the resources necessary to understand the depth and the gravity of either what has happened to you, or the depth of the gravity of what is happening. Because everybody around you is gaslighting you. Because we are in a whole ass narcissistic society. It's not just, oh, depending on who you are, you have these whacked out relationships with people that have done and are doing harmful shit. It's also, we in a whole narcissistic nation that doesn't give a damn about nothing except for doing what the people in power want done. And to the point where even those of us who are at the very bottom, we have given up and don't even fight our own oppressor. We don't even fight the motherfucker. We just said, okay, well, whatever. And we just going with it. We just going with the program like it's fine. And until we say, oh, I don't want to go with this program no more, nothing's going to change. But the program that we have to disentangle from is our own conditioning. And that means that we have to do healing work. And who got time for that? Right? Like that's going to be what everybody going to say, cuz either you don't have time for it or you don't have money for it. You don't have time for it because you're trying to survive capitalism. You don't have money for it because trying to survive capitalism. The problem is the same no matter how you look at it, is Black people are always trying to survive capitalism because Black people are at the bottom of capitalism, because capitalism is Black people in slavery, and capitalism is everybody except for a few rich people in slavery, but some of your slaves are super high paid. Some of your slaves are super high paid. And we as parents have been conditioned into selling our kids into slavery. And we don't have any choices about it because How are you going to survive? And how's your kid going to survive? What is the alternative system other than tell your kid to get a job? Okay, the alternative system is get your own company, get your own business. Okay. How do black people get loans to get businesses in this country? Oh, we don't, right? Black people can't get loans to get businesses in America. In order to get a loan in this country, you have to not be black. They took away everything that would have helped any black business is gone. That's why my book Dump DEI is being rewritten to DEI is dead, because DEI is over and done. They decided that when the venture fund was them saying, yup, I don't give a shit. Black women, I don't give a fuck. You ain't getting shit. I'm not going to allow you to have a successful business. But what are we doing? Oh, we're going to keep on going to the government and suing. Who is the government working for but the big businesses? The government was set up by the rich people. Like, but we still act so naive about that. That's what I think is a little crazy, right? Is we remain naive about what is right in front of our face. We remain naive about the way that the system is designed to keep us enslaved. We act like we don't know it because what? Well, what I figured out for me the reason was because I was too embarrassed. I was too embarrassed to admit that yeah, we still have this messed up system of enslavement because I didn't want my daughter to know. I didn't want her to know. It hurts. And I personally am one of those people who haven't done the healing work on that. And it's not like I know I'm not alone. I know black people, black men, forget about them. They ain't trying at all. But I know that black women, we doing a lot of talk about healing. We doing a lot of talk. We doing a lot of talk. And we ain't doing enough walk. We just not. We doing a lot of talk and we not doing enough walk. Period. End of story. And that's what it is. And the talk versus walk conversation is something that black women not don't want to have. And I already had that conversation in episode 1 of these special editions. These special editions are, out of this new revelation that I learned that I am a narcissistic abuse survivor. Or narcissist, narcissistic, narcissism, abuse, and survivor. I still can't even get it out. Like I said, I'm learning the language. But to learn that I'm a survivor, because I learned that my whole family was narcissists. The lot of them, as they say, the whole lot was a bunch of narcissists. So, okay, now that I know, what am I doing about it? Well, I am getting myself educated. I am following the top narcissistic abuse educators that have, the most research, the most articles, have done a lot and that people keep on going back to because obviously they're giving out good information. Um, Dr. Romney is one, Jill Wise is one, and there's some other really good people that I found on YouTube. And I recommend you do your own research. And I recommend that you assess your own level of narcissism. So, narcissism is personality traits, a combination of personality traits, right? And so, it's okay to have healthy personality traits that are not harming other people, right? Narcissism is a collection of traits, but we use the term in a really broad way. So we say somebody's a narcissist, like that means they're a terrible person. Well, we all have narcissism, but what we're trying to say is that somebody has narcissistic personality disorder. They got some problems with their narcissism. Their narcissism is not healthy, and in fact, it's harmful. And depending on what that looks like, then the conversation goes into what's it called? It goes into um I just lost it. It goes into Oh, borderline personality disorder. So when you're talking about narcissism, you also have the conversation about borderline personality disorder. So while you're talking about borderline personality disorder, it's important to like just dig in and just see, can you see these characteristics in yourself? And which ones can you see in yourself? And do you see what's the spectrum that you see them? So if one of them is a grandiose, entitled sense of self, where do you see that? How does it show up in you? What do you feel entitled to? I literally feel, as a black human being living in America, I feel entitled to reparations. Um, and I feel entitled to the same level of behavior and respect that I give out. So if I give out kindness and respect to a person, I just expect it back. If somebody, oh, I expect to be paid fairly. If somebody pays me for my work, or hires me, I expect to be paid fairly and on time. Other than that, I expect of me to try to, number one, like learn and grow from every situation. I expect of me that I take everything as, like I said, I can learn from anyone, anything, anytime, which is one of the reasons that I have my Leaders Learn Radical Change Act, which is, you know, leadership learning anywhere, anytime, any place, right? Like, like, like it's always, we're ready for you. It's always there. It's an app, and it's a leadership learning collective. And we focus on critical thought leadership at the intersection of technology and work. And we bring those three things together. Everything is related to technology. Everything that we do work wise is related to technology. And everything that we need to do, we need to have a focus on critical thinking, critical thinking. And the focus on critical thinking that would behoove us to have, the focus on critical thinking that would really elevate our everything. It's not something that we have been encouraged, or we haven't been encouraged to be critical thinkers. We haven't been encouraged to be critical consumers of anything. Because if we think too hard, we're going to realize that, oh, we are being manipulated. Oh, we are being abused. Oh, we are under narcissistic abuse and terrorism. Like we are. I remember having to tell my ex-husband that he was terrorizing me. Like this motherfucker wouldn't let me go to sleep. Like he was terrorizing me in so many ways. And it was terrible. It was actually terrible. And everybody who knew about it, they just did not give a fuck. They didn't care at all. They didn't give a fuck. And because they didn't give a fuck, for a little while, it made me believe that something was wrong with me. It made me believe something was wrong with me because I'm like, why am I letting myself be treated like that? What is the point? And I remember at some point in my like 29 or 30 that the abuse was so bad, I got to start to believing that, oh, I must deserve it then. I remember believing that. And now looking back, it seemed wacky as F. It seemed real crazy, but I totally remember believing, well, I must have did something in my lifetime to deserve this, or in a different life that I didn't know about that I did to deserve this, because this is some whack shit right here. I don't know what's what with the what's up. I don't know why this is happening, but I don't like the shit, and I don't even know how to fix it. I don't know what to do about it. All I know is it's some bullshit. Like that's really all I had to go on at the time, was this is some bullshit what is happening to me. I don't understand why. How did I have all these other boyfriends in life that treated me so nice, and this person acting like I done killed his mother or some shit? Like he is like whacked off crazy, like thinking, like treating me like I'm the devil, if there was such a thing, right? And I couldn't understand it. Like, why is he treating me like I'm the devil? And Looking back, he's just a narcissist. That's all. He was a narcissist. And I survived him. I survived my mother. I survived all them bitches. I survived them. Now, is that like, that's a feat, obviously, because I left. And narcissists, they make it super hard for you to leave, because they do all these tactics. One of the tactics that they do is called triangulation, and that's where they get your whole family in on it. And my mother used to do it all the time, and she used to always do it to my detriment. My mom was always triangulating me with an ex-boyfriend or my ex-husband. And it's funny because after she had her stroke and I cleaned up her house, I found letters and so much proof of my mom not liking me. Like, I found the literal proof everywhere. It's a lot too. And looking back, like, I didn't really do, I didn't unpack it. I didn't work on healing from it. I didn't, because I was like, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna just move on. Plus, I was at therapy, and therapy teaches you that, like, I remember my one therapist saying, well, you deal with it when you feel like you deal with it when you got time. And I was like, well, okay. And guess what? The time didn't come, did it? Because here it is. That I haven't seen that guy in 4 years now, and here it is. I'm just dealing with that part of my trauma right now. I'm just dealing with that part of trauma right now. Why? Because I ain't want to deal with it. Why? Because um, it's we are afraid of pain. We haven't been given the skills and the tools to process pain, because the people with whom or from whom we need to process pain are consistently still abusing us and minimizing our pain. So they make it seem like we're nuts, we're crazy, and any pain that we're experiencing, either we deserved it or it's our fault. And we are hooked on that as a society. We're hooked on it. We're hooked on it. Oh, I shouldn't have wore that outfit. Oh, I should have came home earlier. Oh, I shouldn't have went by myself. Oh, I shouldn't have did this. Our abusers have trained us to accept the abuse as our fault. So again, as my very smart friend said, black women, because I'm talking to black women mostly, when it comes to, some of this stuff. But all women have been trained this way if they live in a Western part of society. I don't know enough about Eastern culture and what women are taught to remark on it. So 99% of what I'm talking about is American black women and women, but mostly American black and white women, because that's my exposure to American black and white women is what I have. I have no idea the way women are socialized in Europe. Like, if they supposed to, you know, like, I don't know what the dealio is. Like, are they supposed to what? I have no actual idea. And so I don't know if in Europe they experience the trauma of womanhood in the same way, or if they experience it differently. I have zero idea. And so I'm going to always talk about American culture. And what I know of American culture is that we have been conditioned to accept abuse at the most heinous levels. Women have been conditioned to accept abuse at the most heinous levels, to the point where women even participate in abusing other women. And that's what happens with black women all of the time. We get put in positions where they force us to abuse each other. And what we don't recognize is that is the exact same thing that they did to us during the times of enslavement. And I don't know why it's so hard for us to see that, other than they have it hidden in plain sight. They have um, everything hidden in plain sight, meaning that all of the stuff that we could use to free ourselves is in plain sight. but we can't see it um because we blinded by everything that they have in front of us on purpose to keep us from seeing it. And once we though get to the point where we can see it, then everything is going to change. It's like Dick Gregory says it. Dick Gregory say when you put on the magic glasses, you can never take them off. And that's true. Once we put on the magic freaking glasses, we can never take them off. And my magic glasses have been on so long. And now it makes sense to me, right? It makes sense to me why I've had so many of my experiences with violence in all of these systems and with these people. It's because my magic glasses must have been off since, well, I guess I know when my magic glasses came off. It was the fatty incident when I found out my mother had been calling me fatty for years. And my grandfather told me about it in the most maniacal, disgusting way. And that shit hurt me for so long. I don't even know how long I was hurt over that, but I know that I didn't speak to my own mother for like 8 or 9 months. And then finally, my grandparents begged me, begged me. And I said she didn't apologize. And my mom kept on saying it was for what? For what? What do I need to apologize for? What? And I was like, for calling me fat. Like what? Like, and she was like, well, you are fat. I'm like, no, I'm not. And I wasn't. I was 6 years old. I might have been 7, but I was not fat. I went back and I looked at the pictures of myself. I wasn't fat. I got fat around 9 when my period came on. But I think that my body developed as a result of being abused. And I remember that after my mom started calling me fat, I really started I just kind of leaned into it a little bit. And I just ate whenever I felt like it. I remember I started eating a lot of candy and comfort food. And I knew how to cook. By the time I was 8, 9 years old, I could cook any damn thing. I could cook a whole damn Thanksgiving dinner by myself by the time I was 10. Easily. Easily. And everything would have been good. Everything would be popping. Right? Um, and so I began to gain weight over my time or whatever. And I've lost weight and gained weight my entire life. My entire life. And it's August of 2024. And I'm gonna lose these last final 20 pounds. And I'm gonna be good to go. Keeping my weight for the next 50 years. I'm not gonna play no more games with my body because of stress, because of capitalism. Because at the end of the day, capitalism gonna do what it's gonna do, so I can do what I'm gonna do, right? And I'm not gonna let capitalism stress me out. Capitalism gonna do what it's gonna do, and meanwhile, I'm going to ascend, right, or accelerate, in my thing, right? And for me, it's all about now, healing from narcissistic abuse. I recognize, like I said, that as a person that I projected that they were narcissistic, abusing me. I projected that they was abusing me, and literally, it didn't have nothing to do with me. It was them. It was them all the time. But again, the world, we don't see the world. We view the world from via our own vantage point. We view the world via our own vantage point. So that means that we see the world from ourselves, right? And so then when I said that to myself, I was like, okay, well, let me check. What am I doing? And then it's like, okay, no, that I didn't really have an understanding of it. So let me go back, let me look at everything, and let me get it figured out. And what I come to the conclusion is I'm a survivor of narcissistic abuse, and so therefore I have some characteristics and traits of a survivor. And if I've been a part of it in my entire life, I would have no reason to think that it's not happening to me because I haven't healed from it. So I don't know what anything else looks like except for being in that kind of relationship, even if I'm not in one. Which would then make me understand why I never stayed with any of the good guys that really loved me and cared about me for me. And it wasn't because they wasn't cute. It wasn't because their body wasn't tea. It wasn't because they ain't had money. It was because I was used to people treating me like shit. And I also had my mom always triangulating and shooing the bad guys away, the good guys away, and keeping the abusers. Like I remember this guy one time put my arm in what they used to call a chicken wing. And I was like, this is you hurting me. Like what the hell? He like acting like it was a joke. And I made sure he ain't never see me again. I told my mom about it. And one day when he came to visit me, my mom let him in. She's done so many things like that over my lifetime because she didn't like me, but she ain't like herself, and she was a narcissist. And now I get it. I get it so much. I really get it. And that happens to a lot of people. And in the black community, black women, we only have two places to push our pain. We have two places to push our pain, right? To ourselves and to our children. That's it. Ourselves and our children. Each other, ourselves, and our children, I guess you could say. Our EOC. Each other, ourselves, and our children. EOC. Right? And that's what we do. Instead of pushing that shit to where it belongs. No, because the white person, the white man has put himself up as a hero over the last 100 years of media. And we bought into it. So he can't do no wrong. It's only other black women, or we have to beat our kids because they doing wrong because they not bending to slavery because they have drapetomania like we do. We have it, but we want to beat each other so that we keep it because we don't want nobody to heal. We don't want nobody to grow. We don't want anybody to do better because we never left our slave mentality. And that is the part that's so super tough, right? Is that we still have our slave mentality. And it's important to do the work of healing from post-traumatic slave syndrome that Dr. Joy talks about. Like it's so important to do that. And it's important to heal from all of our shit and recognizing that healing takes time. Healing is not some kind of fashion show. Healing is not something you could just do online. Healing is like a big ass effort that takes a lot of work. And we get the opportunity to put the effort and put the work in when we decide that we want to be healed, when we decide that we want to be whole, when we really recognize that, hey, we have had some really unfortunate things that have happened to us, and they wasn't our damn fault. It was we were victims. We were victims of capitalism. Period. The result of capitalism is slavery. And the result of slavery is economic instability or whatever the hell you want to call this bullshit that we're going through now. We're going to have another housing crisis and all of the. No, the hell with that nonsense. The hell with that nonsense. Decide for yourself. I'm going to heal my shit and I'm going to um become the best version of me I can. Anybody that I harmed in my unhealed state, I'm going to let them know, hey, I was in a real unhealed state. It's not an excuse. I take responsibility for how I harmed you. And that's it. I take full responsibility for how I harmed you. Again, get you a smart friend that give you some go-to lines. And I was like, but I do. And I do. And I do take responsibility. And I will. Anytime I do something wrong, I will say, I take full responsibility. I messed that up. And then I'm going to do something about it. I had a business partner one time do something real trash. And then when we had the conversation, and the conversation was had with other people, the response was, yeah, that was my bad. That's on me. I didn't do shit. I ain't show up. I left you hanging. Blase, blase. It wasn't never, I'm so sorry. And man, that really changed the trajectory of everything. It was just like, yeah, I did it. So what? Who cares? And that's what narcissists do. And I didn't realize that. But I remember so many times my ex-husband doing some horrible stuff to me, something violent, something mean, something violent, something rude, and then being like, oh yeah, my bad. Okay. Like, that's not an apology. My bad is not an apology, especially when you really admit how bad the thing was. That's not an apology. So we get to um be treated in a way that feels good for us by the people with whom we interact. If we're not treated in a way that feels good with us, by the people with whom we interact, we shouldn't fuck with them people. We should leave them alone. Literally. Why are we in relationships with people who not treating us good? Why are we in relationships with people who don't like us? Why? Well, it's because are narcissistic, capitalistic, paternalistic, patriarchal, oppressive, colonized society says you don't have no choice but to deal with being oppressed. Because if you protest, I'm going to punch you in the face. That legacy of slavery that we have to address it. But we're not allowed to address it because the narcissists that are running it and have been running it have just created a whole society of narcissists that are their minions that keep the status quo in check. That's what has happened. And so, in the meantime, that really helps to magnify, right, why it's so critical that there be a focus on intentional healing. Because without that, what do we have? Like, like I keep on thinking, like I'm almost Ovanda would have been kind of pissed at myself for not knowing that narcissism, not making a connection earlier that narcissism is not just an overall societal thing framed in the context of white supremacy, that it could be framed in the context of individual family systems and behavior. I just didn't put it together because that's not my main area of study. I haven't been studying it. I haven't been working on it. I've been studying um, the impact of whiteness, right? And I've been studying how whiteness has impacted me and not linking, even though I know whiteness and narcissism are the same, but I didn't link it in terms of my individual family systems, and the relationships of my of people in my life that I grew up with, like whether my mom, or whoever. I didn't put two and two together. And I believe I didn't put two and two together because it's just my learning style. I just was like, it just didn't hit me like that. It just didn't hit me like that. And I'm actually, I'm okay with it didn't hit me like that because I I wasn't looking for it. And the good part of that is the part that I'm really, really okay is that obviously there's a whole bunch that goes along with narcissistic personality disorder that didn't resonate with me because I'm always criticizing and looking at myself. I'm not necessarily looking at do somebody else have narcissistic personality disorder. I was looking to see if I had it. And then to come to find out, oh no, that's not what it is. It's all these other things. It's grandiosity. It is entitlement. It is, no empathy, fake empathy. It is future faking. How does it look? How does it start off? Oh, well, we got love bombing and we have, you know, um, the future faking thing. And we have the constantly lying. And then we have finding out they triangulating their kids and like all these things that's like, oh wow. Okay, well, I grew up in all of that. I get it now. I see. Whereas before, I know. I did not know that, oh, this is what narcissism actually looks like. I knew the definition of it. So one of the things that goes with this conversation is the conversation of knowing something cognitively. So let's take the empathy conversation to another level. And let's take the empathy conversation from the aspect of, is your empathy just cognitive, meaning you know what empathy is, you can define it, you can talk about it, or is your empathy compassionate? Is your empathy actionable, right? Like how do you know what makes you think you have empathy? Is it because you can define it and you can talk about it? Or is it because, you actually can such empathize with other people that you're not a person that's out here harming people, right? Like you're not harming people. Now, unfortunately, right? A lot of times, or I don't want to say, well, yeah, unfortunately, narcissistic people are very self-unaware. And you can't make them self-aware because as soon as you try to make them self-aware, they gaslight you. But because they can't see it, right? And it's like they're blind to it. Anything anybody else say, it's like, so it's off track, it's out, it's whack, it's off base. You say something to a narcissist, that motherfucker is going to gaslight the shit out of you. They never going to admit to what you are saying to them, no matter if the evidence is right in front of them. Like, I can remember Bruce screaming at me, breaking shit all around me, and him telling me that he ain't doing nothing to me. I'm not doing nothing to you. Boom, glass break. I ain't doing nothing to you. Boom, threw something at the at one of the glass pictures on the wall. I ain't doing nothing to you. Boom, do something downstairs. Like, you are doing something. You are doing something. And the one house next door was vacant, so wasn't nobody there. And the one family, they didn't really give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. I don't even know what hours they used to work, but they had to hear that motherfucker screaming and howling and throwing shit because it was so loud all the time. It was so loud. I think that's one of the times in my life that because what thing is this? Because he was so loud, I think that when he used to do all that howling and screaming stuff, I think that's when I picked up that habit of being able to zone out or like go away and be, just like, all right, I'm not even in this conversation, like I'm not even here with what he is saying here. I'm like just zoned out to another world, because if I come to this world, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. Like, I remember feeling like I can't come to this world where he at. I cannot meet on this level because I'm going to murder this nigga. And I remember one time I was like planning in my mind what I was going to do. How was I going to do it? Am I going to pour, gas on him and just do a burning bed? Am I going to pour hot grits on his dick in the middle of the night? Am I going to wait till he's taking a shower and then pour hot grits on him? Have all my shit in the car? So like I had, I had so many plans ready to, do something to get out. Like, I had different plans. And when I really started making serious thoughts about committing like a schmurder, I said, Vonda, girl, you gotta leave. You can't be planning a crime. What kind of bullshit is that? And so I planned one of my many exits from the relationship, one of my failed exits. Um, and between the failed exit and the final exit, I got pregnant. And that's why my daughter is here today. Um, 22 and a half years later, so 23 years later, 23 years ago, I fell back into the trap for a brief moment, just long enough to get pregnant. So that tells me that my daughter was supposed to be here and everything works out the way it's supposed to. So I'm all for that, that joyous piece of um life. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it and I'm gonna be here for it. And what happens to a lot of people a lot of times is we really get pulled down by all of these things, and we don't recognize that all of these things happen to us because the people that did shit to us did it on purpose. They did that shit to you on purpose. If you got stalked, so here's a perfect example. One of the things that narcissists, grandiose and overt narcissists do really easily, and they get away with it, they do a lot of stalking. So if somebody love bombed you on social media, or they love bombed you through your email, or they love bombed you in some kind of way, they stalked you before they found you. They stalked you. They stalked you. And not only did they stalked you on purpose and sought you out, and they knew how the shit was going to end. They knew that they was going to harm you or fuck you over in some kind of way, or they know you're going to leave. Period. They know that you'll leave when you get tired, and they know you're going to stay until you get enough. They already know, because a narcissist, they already have motivation behind what they doing. They already have motivation behind that shit. They already, in their mind, got some, oh my goodness, yes. They already, in their mind, got some shit planned out. They already got it. They already got, in their mind, some shit planned out. Every last fucking one of them. And it's just a matter of who you are and what your whole thing is, right? What how you get down is going to be able to is going to be the thing that helps you, you know, be able to recover from the narcs, right? Like you, in order to recover from the narc, you are going to have to decide, number one, that you gonna have to decide that you need recovery, but you gonna have to put in work to recover from the narc. It's not going to just happen like, okay, boom. Nope, it's not. It's not going to happen like that at all. If you want to recover from the narc, you going to have to put your own work into it. You going to have to put your back into it. You're going to have to put your back into it if you really want, because I've been, like I said, just getting to the point now to now learn at the age of 55 that I have been in narc abusive relationships my entire life. My entire life. My entire life. Now, I have been in relationships that weren't narc abuse, but mostly I've been in them. Mostly I've been in them. And um my family enabled them. Like I think I said, my family enabled them. So and my family is a whole bunch of narcs. A whole bunch of malignant narcs. Definitely three of my aunts, two of them is malignant for sure, 100%. Two of them is absolutely malignant narcs. Two of them, and my mother. So that's a group of three right there. That's a group of three right there. And that says a lot. That says a whole lot. And it's really it was really, for me to hear it was a lot. Um it was a lot for me to hear it. And I got it figured out and all of that. But yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. But the good news, the good news is that because I now know I'm a narc survivor, I'm a true survivor. I have so much more power because I feel so good now that I know, like, okay, I'm a soul survivor. That's I always been a soul survivor for a really, really, really long time. So I'm still surviving. Yeah, I feel amazing. It's amazing. I feel fantastic about the shit. I feel absolutely fantastic. And I don't need to I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to justify, like, I feel like it's super, super, super cool. And I'm just happy about that shit. I wanna see, oh, this is good. I wanna see um I just want to see myself continue to grow and thrive and just, be an amazing person. And to already know and to be getting the feedback from people that matter, that's telling me, oh yeah, you are an amazing person. That's letting me know that I've been trying to do I've been doing the right thing all the time. I met a lady one time. I love this lady. Her name began with a T. And I thought she was a smart lady. And she used to say, if you trying, you lying. You either doing something or you ain't doing it. And I was like, well, goddamn, if that ain't some hard ass core truth, I can't even tell you what is if it's not some hardcore friggin' truth. And ever since she said that, I think about that every time I open my mouth. If I'm lying, am I lying or am I trying? Right? If I say I'm trying, I'm lying. So, am I doing the thing or not? And I've been doing the work of healing. I'm definitely doing that. I'm definitely doing that. Do I still have some areas of trauma? Yeah, that I have not dealt with. And thanks to my really, really smart friend, I know what I need to heal from, and I'm doing some of the stuff that I need to do to make it happen. I'm doing it. Like literally even right this actual moment. The shit I'm doing, and every day I'm going to tackle something that maybe I don't want to tackle because it's a little bit difficult, but shit. Can't nothing tackle beat the shit I already did. And now that what did Gregory say? I took the magic glass. I got the magic glasses on, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I still gotta do what I gotta do because of the stupid magic glasses. They on, they on, and so I can't take them off. They're here. So all I can do is roll with the magic glasses, and that's all. Roll with them, and that's what I'm gonna tell you to do. I'm gonna tell you that it's scary to put the magic glasses on because the magic glasses are not just waking you up to the world. The magic glasses waking you up to you because we don't view the world via some external thing. We view the world via our own vantage point. View the world via our own vantage point. So what you see, what you are experiencing, what is going on, that's all your own self concept. That's all who you see yourself as. That's what it is. Now, does that mean that the shit that's happened to you is not happening to you? No, absolutely not. And I'm not saying that, and I'm definitely not trying to gaslight nobody out of their pain and out of their experience. What I'm trying to say is your self concept has an impact on how you see what's happening to you. Do you see yourself as a victim that these people, these systems, this structure is doing this to you? It's doing it to you. So all you can do is change your mindset and change you because the system is doing it. And you can't fix them because they already done decided they're going to do what they're going to do. And it's up to you to recognize that. My smart friend said black women don't know or don't want to say that we're victims, but we are. And until we admit that we've been victimized, how do we heal? What are we healing from if we can't say we healing from this victimization? Now, there's excuses from some things and there's reasons for others. The reason, the reason is white supremacy, capitalism, patriarchy. That's why we get hurt every day. Capitalism, white supremacy, patriarchy. It's all one thing. It's all mixed up. And all of that is narcissism. That's what it shows out as, narcissism. And then it's just on different scales depending on where you fall in the social hierarchy. So because black women are at the bottom of the social hierarchy, we only can exhibit narcissistic abuse on people that look like us, that are of a lower stature, and our children. That's it. We can't. I ain't never known a black woman to get a white person fired ever. I ain't never known a black woman to get a man fired ever. Unless it was from some outright, like they was walking out the job with 10 computers on their back. Something like that maybe. But I never heard of it. Not saying it ain't happened. I personally never heard of it. And if they did, if they got the power to do it, then good for them. But what I do know is that the way that um patriarchy, white supremacy shows up, it definitely shows up in narcissism. And narcissism is a scale because it's just like anti-blackness is a scale. It's just like whiteness is a scale. So when I wrote my book, Dump DEI, Alleviate Anti-Blackness Instead, I very specifically talked about anti-blackness being on the spectrum and how black people have anti-blackness. So for example, the way that anti-blackness shows up in a black person is in a black person that's a bougie black person. So what is a bougie black person? A bougie black person that believes that you might have a degree, but if you ain't go to a school I ever heard of, it ain't shit. So you went to, I don't know, El Segundo Farms Community College, you ain't shit because I went to University of Michigan. Or you went to Temple, I don't care, I went to University of Pennsylvania. Like that shit, right? So if you into that, that is nothing but anti-blackness because black people couldn't even get into college. Black people wasn't even allowed to read. So how is that a flex that you got into a college and another black person didn't? Because we're not allowed to even, if we do even get into college, we're not allowed to use our degrees to free our people. Don't y'all think that after all these years, black people been going to college and they even made black colleges, that black people would be a little bit more free? Why do y'all think that black people ain't free? Black people ain't free. Black people ain't free because what? Because the owners of our country is not allowing it. And we won't take our freedom. We said, all right, well, fuck it. You can't beat them, join them. And what I'm saying is, I'm not joining them. Me personally, nah, I ain't joining them. Sorry, y'all. I ain't joining y'all. I'm not with the shits. I'm not with the shits. I'm not joining the band of lazy people. I mean, I don't want to say that. That's bad. Scratch that. I'm not joining the band of people that don't want to put the magic glasses on. I'm with the people that got the magic glasses on. If you don't have the magic glasses on, it's okay. I still love you, but I'm not spending time and energy on helping you put the magic glasses on because I have to walk with my magic glasses on and live my life with my magic glasses on. And it's not easy having the magic glasses on because you have to heal to be able to utilize the magic glasses effectively. You can't utilize the magic glasses effectively when your shit is all fucked up and you're not working on your own healing. That is the only way to utilize the magic glasses is to be focused on your own healing from a very deep and meaningful place. And if you're not, then you shouldn't worry about it because you're not going to get that much happening. You're not going to get that much happening if you're not focused on your own healing from a deep and meaningful place. You are going to keep on being frustrated because you're going to keep on thinking that it's about other people when it's about you. It's about you. So even for example, let's take let's just take depression as an example, right? If you know somebody close to you, they just really always seem to be having a hard time. What goes through your mind when they are having a hard time? Do you think it's all about you? Okay. Like I didn't think it was all about me, but at some point I thought a good deal was, and come to find out it ain't nothing about me. How narcissistic of me to think somebody's thinking about me day and night, and like I have such that impact on them that whatever. I mean that's a little narcissistic. I ain't mad about it. I'm just saying, it just is right. I'm okay taking that feedback because I'm learning and I'm really trying to grow and be, a better version of me. So because I'm trying to grow and be a better version of me, I'm okay finding narcissistic traits in myself because then I can do something about it. I could say, ooh, okay, well, let's work on that because I don't like that one too much. I don't like that trait, right? I don't want to be like that, right? But again, I learned at my pace and I don't know about a lot about depression. I don't know a lot about it. But guess what I'm gonna do? It's on my next study list, right? So right now I'm studying some very specific things around post-traumatic slave syndrome. I'm studying some very specific things around um uh borderline personality disorder. I'm continuing my study on narcissism, and I'm really focusing on narcissistic abuse survivor. Because now I'm like, my whole family was like that. You telling me this is a whole ass thing? It's not, oh, just a little, this is America. No, this is like in your individual family systems, people go through narcissistic abuse. I didn't know that. And so now that I do, I'm learning. And now I can say, let's look at some of what these recovery strategies are. Like, let's look at them. What are they? Shit. Okay, well, let me try this one. Okay, they talk about getting educated first. Okay, that's where I am. I'm in the get educated stage, and that's my favorite stage of, well, my get educated stage and put it to practice stage is my two favorites because I like putting it to practice. I really like putting it to practice. Um, you know, I like applying the acknowledgement. So if I acknowledge something, okay, how do I apply it? So like radical acceptance. Okay, how do I actually apply it? I like that part. Um, I don't like the falling down part, the forgetting part, the fucking up part. I don't like that part. But it be what it's gonna be. And I'm down for the challenge. I'm excited, just like that lady in the orange sweater, like on my Zoom. I am excited to make forward steps. I'm excited to curate those connections, and I'm excited to move towards that radical change. Period. Even when it's difficult. So, hope you are doing good and ready to forge your own future, right? Not fake a future, forge a future, and do it in a way that's going to support your deepest dreams, your deepest desires, so that you can get the radical change you want. And I'll see you soon.